Today we're going to learn how to draw an eye. So I'm going to start out with a big circle, and this circle represents the iris. The iris has different colors. Some people have blue ones, some people have green. Mine are brown. An iris is a muscle. It's like a donut shape, and in the center is a hole right there, another circle, and that's the pupil. That's an opening where the light goes through and back to your eyeball and sends a signal to your brain. The little curved triangle I just did is a highlight because your eyes are always shiny. Now let's think about the shape of the eyelids. The upper eyelid away from the nose has a straight line and towards the nose is curved. The lower eyelid away from the nose is curved and towards the nose is straight. And the same for the other side. The upper eyelid is always curved towards the nose and straight away from the nose. I know that's kind of an exaggerated drawing and they're kind of droopy looking, but I'm just trying to make a point. So we're going to go back to our original eye. We're going to color in the pupil. The contrast with that very, very dark, color pretty heavy by the way, that very dark pupil next to the highlight makes for a nice contrast. Now the eyelid actually cuts through the upper part of the iris. Notice the curve towards the nose? And if I made a little plotting point, that should kind of angle downward towards the nose. If you took both corners of the eye, they're going to angle downward. And then here's the lower eyelid. The curve is away from the nose and it's kind of straight. And then there's a little bit of a droop there, and that's where the tear ducts are. So we're going to get rid of the upper part of the iris because that's covered up by the eyelid. And I'm going to do little pencil marks, almost like spokes on a bike wheel, coming from the center of the circle outward. And that represents the iris. Because the muscle has striations, we're going to have like kind of a linear pencil sketching effect. And then darken a little bit towards the outside of that iris muscle and then towards the inside of the pupil. I'm going to clarify the edge of that upper eyelid, darken in that line. And because that eyelid is a flap of skin, it has an edge to it, so we're going to draw another line almost parallel to the one we drew originally. And do the same for the lower eyelid. We're going to shadow the edge of that eyelid because it's away from the light. And I'm just going to very lightly sketch in where the upper eyelid would end. A little bit of a crease there. And there's a shadow up towards the eyebrow. I'm going to also lightly just kind of sketch in where the eyebrow would go. So you can see how big the eye actually is. Now I'm going to talk about the eyelashes. Sometimes when we draw eyelashes, we do a great eye and all of a sudden we ruin it with drawing the eyelashes. Eyelashes, they don't grow up. They grow out, like this. They have a downward curve to them and taper off that line by pulling pressure off your pencil. So the line starts really thick and then it thins out, just like that. Takes a little practice. And then we'll draw the lower eyelashes. Now, because the eyelid is on top of the eyeball, it casts a little bit of a shadow, especially from the eyelashes. So we're just going to lightly shade in the upper part of that eyeball. And it gives it extra added dimension when you shadow things. Really makes it look 3D. And we're also going to shadow in from the corner of the eyes. And just darken in those edges of the irises. And there's your eye. Next, we're going to do 2 eyes. And that's where the nose should go. Stay tuned.